Hi, I'm Kira. Welcome to my channel. Didn't post for about 2 months because I just literally had no time at all to sit down and do this. So this is going to be my May and June reading wrap up because I was in a pretty big reading slump in May and I think I only read 4 books and I just felt like that wasn't enough to warrant making a video about it. But I've been on the grind in June a little bit, trying to catch up on my reading goal. So we're gonna just combine them all. I don't even remember, so I need to go through my journal and we're gonna stack the books here and then go through them. It's not gonna be in order of when I read them because some were part of series and I read multiple in the series, so I'm just gonna do them all together. I did film 2 week-long reading vlogs, I think, and I just didn't like either of them because it was when I was in my slump, so I wasn't talking. Okay, anyways, moving on. When I filmed those, I was in my reading slump, and so I wasn't talking very positively about the books I was reading because I wasn't really liking the books I was reading. I just didn't even want to edit those 2 reading vlogs because I knew I just wasn't going to be happy with the content of them. Now that I've been talking forever, I'm going to get into what I read. Starting with May, I read 4 books. You know what? No, these aren't going to be in order. I'm just going to combine them all. Just know I read 4 books in May and 9 books in June, but I'll explain it at the end because there's a situation happening. This was part of my 20 book list challenge on Birthday by Liz Braswell, which is part of the Disney Twisted Tale series. This one is about Alice in Wonderland, and it's Wonderland is in danger and Alice is going back 10 years later to try and help them. I gave this 2.5 stars, I think, and it was written very whimsical because Wonderland is whimsical, which is fine. It just was a little difficult to understand some things sometimes. And I just didn't love the story because it's Alice going back 10 years later, and Alice in Wonderland isn't my favorite story in general, so I was nervous going into this I wasn't going to enjoy it that much, and I didn't really enjoy it that much, but it's okay. There's other Twisted Tale books I enjoy more than this, but it's not like this was terrible. It's just been, I think, my least favorite out of the 7 or 8 that I've read so far. 2.5 stars for On Birthday. Then also for 20 book list challenge, I read Tweet You. I did really enjoy this. I gave this 4 stars. It's basically about these 2 teenagers and their families each own a different deli shop or something, and they have almost identical grilled cheeses and so they start a Twitter war, and then there's an app for students at this school and the main characters are talking to each other anonymously. So, secret identity, kind of. This was really cute. It's YA. I have been straying away from YA romances just because it sometimes feels a little too immature for me personally. Personally prefer YA mystery thrillers or fantasy over YA romance, but this was a good one. And I don't know if I'll read more by Emma Lord, but I wouldn't say no. I read the arc for What the Neighbors Saw by Melissa Edelman, debut novel, and it was really good. I think I gave it 4 stars as well. This family moves into this nice new neighborhood and their neighbors across the street they meet, become kind of friendly with, and then the husband of the neighbor family is murdered on a running trail next to the house. And that's like right at the beginning of the story. It really gets right into it. So the wife of who was murdered befriends the wife of the new family that just moved in, and it's just a whole bunch of drama, which I loved. Like, I liked what drama was happening. I just went into it thinking it was going to be more about the murder investigation because that's what the blurb was giving me. Like, that's what the focus was going to be, so I wasn't expecting so much drama, but I did like it. And we did see some interviews with the detectives. Just wasn't totally focused on the murder like I was thinking, but it wasn't bad. I am definitely going to be keeping a lookout for when this author publishes more, because I definitely would be interested in reading more from her. And then we have The Inheritance Games and The Hawthorne Legacy. The Inheritance Games was a reread because I had to read this for my 20 book list challenge, but I wanted to reread this first. So I did. This is a 5-star read for me. I love this. I love Jennifer Lynn Barnes' writing and how short and fast the chapters are. If you like the movie Knives Out or Escape Rooms, this is for you because I love both those things and I love this book. This girl, Avery, has nothing to do with the Hawthorne family, but she somehow ends up in the grandfather's will and inherits everything, basically. And then there's 4 brothers, and they all have clues from the grandfather of something they need to figure out in order to understand why Avery is part of this mystery. And then I jumped into Hawthorne Legacy. I gave this one 4 stars just because I didn't love the storyline in this one as much. It didn't feel as much of a mystery. Well, I guess it was a mystery. It just, I don't know, bored me a bit at times. I just preferred the first one, that storyline. Currently, for teams, I am on Team Avery. I prefer her just by herself. I think she's girl boss alone. But if I had to choose a team, I'd be a little bit more on Team Grayson. But Team Avery, all the way. Another arc, but I actually have a physical copy of this one. This is Their Free Fall at Last by Julie Olivia. This is the 4th book in the Honeywood Fun Park series. I have been an arc reader for books 2, 3, and 4 in this series, and I've loved every second of it. This one I gave 4 stars. Basically, this is about Ruby and Bennett, and we've seen Ruby and Bennett, they're besties, and we've seen their friendship in all the other books in this series. So I've been waiting to see their story since book 1, and it finally is here. It starts when they're kids, when they first meet, and then it just keeps going, the timeline keeps going forward, and you get to see them grow up together, all the way until the present, when Bennett is about to get married. And we know this from the other books. He's had a fiance in at least the last book, and then girlfriend the other 2, I think. But he's now about to get married. I believe the epilogue of book 3 and the prologue of book 4 are the same, but just from different characters' perspectives. And it just starts like right away, like at the wedding, and then it goes back. I gave this a 4 because some of the things that Bennett did near the end, like maybe this much of the book, the last 15%, it just didn't seem like something he as a character would do, like how we know him, or him being Ruby's best friend would do. It just didn't make sense to me, and I got a little annoyed at him. So that's why it's a 4 stars. My favorite is still the 3rd book. All Right Forever. It definitely will be in my top 10 books of the year. I know it. Moving on to the last few books. Within the months of May and June, I binged the Chestnut Springs series by Elsie Silver. I think I read Flawless in May, and then I read these 3 in June. I read the last 2 back-to-back last week. One of my new favorite series ever. I just love the vibes of this so much, and all these characters. Mostly. First one, Flawless. This is about Rhett and Summer, and Rhett is a bull rider, and Summer is the daughter of Rhett's agent, I think he is, and she gets sent by her dad to Rhett's ranch to keep an eye on him because he did something that would like lower his reputation. I gave this one, I believe it was a 3.5, but I could bump it up to a 4, but for now I'm going to keep it a 3.5 just because I liked Rhett at the beginning of this book, like the first half, and then I just slowly started declining with my likeness towards him. And then the 4th book, he says some stuff about Summer's sister. Wasn't a fan of what he said, how he said it. This is my least favorite of the series. Still very good. Made me want to keep reading the rest of the series, obviously, because I read the whole thing. It's just not one I would like pick up to go reread immediately. Like if I was reading the whole series again, I'd read it, but if I just wanted to read one book, I wouldn't reach for this one. Also, I love these covers, and apparently they're going out of print at the end of this year. Bloom Books picked it up and is changing the covers. And there's a 5th book, but I think I saw that Elsie Silver confirmed there would be a matching one for this set. Fingers crossed that's true. Then the next one, Heartless. This one is Cade and Willa. Willa is Summer's best friend, and Cade is the oldest brother. The books are about brothers, if I didn't say that before. And Cade is a single father. He has a 4-year-old son. He needs a babysitter / nanny, but he doesn't like anyone that has interviewed. So Summer suggests Willa to take the position, and she does. So she stays at their house for summer. Also, I think I just didn't like this one because it was a lot of bull riding focus, and I just didn't care about that. Like, I like the Cowboy Yeehaw vibes of like the ranch and stuff, but not so much the bull riding. So I think that's why I didn't like it that much either. This one wasn't bull riding. I gave this one 5 stars, by the way. For me, the series just keeps getting better and better with each book, so I feel like this one is a lot of people's favorite of the series, and I definitely see it. Like, it could be my 2nd favorite, maybe. Next, Powerless, which is Jasper and Sloane. Jasper and Sloane have been best friends since they were kids. And Sloane is engaged at the beginning of this book and about to get married, but she's always liked Jasper. So I think you can use context clues to see how the rest of the book goes. She's supposed to get married, but she likes someone else, so. I really like this one. I flew through this. Oh, also I flew through Heartless. I read this in 2 sittings. I read this in I think almost 2 sittings as well, maybe a little bit in a 3rd sitting, but basically 2 sittings. These books, like, I can read 200 pages at a time and it feel like 50 pages. Like, it's that good and it's that quick. If you're in a reading slump, read these, because I'm pretty sure that's what got me out of my reading slump, was reading Heartless. Because I was reading Flawless during my reading slump, so also might have something to do with why I didn't like it as much. Then I got in Heartless, flew through it, out of the slump. Another 5 stars. I know what my favorite book of the series is, which is book 4, but I don't know what my second favorite would be. It's a very close tie between these two, because I really like both of them a lot. Forgot to say that Jasper plays hockey and Sloane is a ballerina. So, sports romance. And then Reckless. This is my favorite of the series. 5 stars. This one is about Theo and Winter. Winter is Summer's sister, and Theo is being taken under the wing of Rhett. So this has a little bit of bull riding in it, but not so much as where it was like overtaking my thoughts of the book. It was just a little bit at the end, I think. But yeah, this is Secret Baby, Accidental Pregnancy, which not my cup of tea normally, but something about this. I freaking love Theo. He's my favorite guy, I think, out of this series. Kate a close second. And we've seen Winter throughout the other books, and she seems kind of like not nice, but we see her story and her side of things in this one, which was great. I loved her. Also, the scene where they meet for the first time is in Powerless, so like I picked up on that in this, and that made me so excited to get to this because I loved that part. Possible top 10 of the year so far. If you haven't read the Chestnut Spring series, please go read it right now. And then I'm currently reading Loathe to Love You by Ali Hazelwood. This is her collection of 3 novellas that originally were audiobooks only. I read the first 2, and I'm counting these as separate books, 3 separate books, because 1, I need to catch up on my Goodreads goal. I'm like 10 behind right now. And 2, they're completely separate stories. I mean, they're all best friends, and they each have their own story. But in my mind, they're different entities, and I cannot group them together because the first one I gave 4 stars, the second one I gave 1 star. And I just didn't want to average it out for like the whole book. The first one, Under One Roof. Do I remember their names even though I'm reading it right now? No. But basically the girl was left half of this house by her boss. I think her boss, I don't know. But then the boss's relative, I can't remember what he is, if he's a nephew or grandchild, but he was also left half the house, or he bought it out or something. So they have to live there together. I gave this one 4 stars because I liked the characters, I liked the storyline. I just wish it was longer. This 110 pages of this novella was not enough for me for that story. I wish it was longer so we could see more development. But for what it was great. The second one, however, Stuck With You, 1 star. I think I skimmed the last 40 pages, which is like half of it. I didn't like either of the characters. It was just a weird dynamic between the 2 of them, I felt like. And then the structure of it, it was like back and forth, but it was only back and forth 3 weeks, and it was such weird placement from back and forth. I don't know, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Basically, the characters met 3 weeks before the present, and they like went on a date or something, but she like thought the guy was trying to use her for work or something. Is that a bird? Oh my god, it's a bird nest right outside my window. That's nice. If it was a full-length book, I would have DNF'd it probably 50 pages in, but since it was so short, I was just like, I'm just gonna skim it and see if I'm missing anything. And then last one, Below Zero, I'm currently reading, but I still have today and tomorrow to finish it before the end of June, which I will do because I only have like 70 pages left. So far, I'm liking it more than the second one, but I don't think as much as the first one, so we'll see. I'll finish it before I have this video fully edited, so I'll put my rating up here somewhere. I don't know if I like the girl that much. I'm halfway through chapter 3, so we just met the guy. They just met for the first time, and she's interviewing him for an assignment in her NASA program. Science! Here's what I read in May and June, plus the ARC that I don't have the physical copy of yet. I do plan on getting it. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope to be back posting regularly, at least once a week, very soon. Hopefully, I will see you soon.